Bill Belichick versus Jim Harbaugh. Let's get into this because I think it's fascinating when we're talking about specifically, I think the Dallas Cowboys are a perfect example of this. The Dallas Cowboys are said to be considering making a coaching change. Mike McCarthy and Jera are going to meet tomorrow in Tarrant County, boy. And they are going to do what is being described by Adam Schefter as a job interview for Mike McCarthy to make his case that he should not be fired as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Right off the bat, I think that is a ridiculous way to do business if you are Jared Jones. Now, maybe that's not the case, but I don't know. Mike McCarthy, and this is really important, Mike McCarthy has done a good job as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But you can't get away from losing to what is nothing more than a mediocre Green Bay Packer team. And here's my question. If you're going to fire Mike McCarthy, are you really going to replace him with Jim Harbaugh? And I say you can't do that because replacing Mike McCarthy with Jim Harbaugh is a step backward. Mike McCarthy is a better NFL coach than Jim Harbaugh is. Now, if you want to get into the hoodie and you want the hood to come and work for Jera at Jera World in Tarrant County, boy, I'm here for that. Bill Belichick is a step up. The guy's got 6 rings. And I understand everybody wants to say, well, TB12, Monty. Tom Brady won him 3 of those rings. But there is no question about the fact that Bill Belichick's defense won those first 3 rings. And Tom Brady was not elite those first 3 Super Bowls. Bill Belichick is a hell of a head coach in the NFL. And if you can replace Mike McCarthy with the hoodie, do it. But if you're going to replace him with Jim Harbaugh, Jake, I think it's a step back. And frankly, I think it's a mistake.
Yeah, I think the difficult part with Jim, again, is this collateral damage piece. Like, you know, the Cowboys are one of those organizations that seemingly tells you they're going to win the Super Bowl every year and then never can win a playoff game. And so the question to me is Jim Harbaugh the guy to change that? Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. But what I do know is that Jim is not going to leave you in a better place than he found you. And I only say that because of what we've seen in his last 3 opportunities, right? Michigan, the Niners, you know, you even go back to his Stanford days. Like, he didn't leave those places in a better place than he found them. And then the initial reaction is, oh, well, the NFC championships and the national championship and all this winning. Right. The guy has shown the ability to get to the postseason at the NFL level. And at the college level, he's shown the ability to win it all. And that's great. That's awesome. Great. I agree with you. Cool. But the problem with that is that if he were to, let's say, get to the NFC championship game, and let's just say he won that and then went on to the Super Bowl and lost, and all of his players hated him, and Dak wanted to leave the organization, and he just tore the whole thing down. Is that really who you want to bring in to replace a guy who's given you 3 12-win seasons in a row, and Dak's playing the best football of his career, and seemingly they just can't quite get over the hump? Is that really the trade you want to make? Because that's essentially what you're doing, right? You're trading with yourself. You're saying, hey, we're going to get rid of Fathead and we're going to bring in Khaki King. That's not a smart move. So with the hoodie, my problem with Bill Belichick is he's a defensive guru who struggles offensively. So if you're going to bring in Bill Belichick, that is a win-win for Jerry Jones, right? Hey, I hired Bill Belichick. If you lose with Bill, it is what it is. But if you bring Bill Belichick in, you got to make sure that OC, whoever that's going to be, does
Josh
a
McDaniels,
damn good job. Okay, sure, Josh McDaniels, good example. Okay,
McDaniel.
You brought in Josh McDaniel. Okay,
please,
great, awesome, that's great. But I don't know if that would be the case or not. But if you did, okay, now it's a slam dunk. Now you've done everything that you can do. But I just don't think that we should be trusting Cowboy fans' opinion, because all they want to do is axe this guy. And this guy's given you some of the most consistent seasons you could have asked for.
Yeah, I think it is this conversation about Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick. And I am amazed how many people believe that Jim Harbaugh is either just as good or a better fit for the Dallas Cowboys than Bill Belichick, or Atlanta, who has interviewed both Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh, that you'd rather have Jim Harbaugh than Bill Belichick to rebuild the Atlanta Falcons. It's wild to me. And I just, the track record's not there. I look at what Jim Harbaugh did just on quarterbacks alone. I look at Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith in San Francisco. It ended very poorly. That was the wrong decision at the time that he made it, in my opinion. I look at the hoodie and Tom Brady. McDaniel did a very good job with Tom Brady. That much is very clear, right? And the Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady decision was handled perfectly, and they won. If we're just making decisions based on quarterbacks and quarterback situations, I don't know why you wouldn't pick Bill Belichick instead of Jim Harbaugh. If we're looking at legacies and resumes, there's nothing to even talk about.
Right.
I just struggle with this thing where it's so easy to say, oh, Jim Harbaugh, he's a better choice than Bill Belichick. On what planet is he a better choice?
Yeah, I struggle with that as well, because it's not like Dak is some, young chicken at this point. Dak is someone who's in his prime, is fully developed. Can he get better? Sure. But I don't think the guy can really get any better until you give him better wide receivers to throw to, better options, running routes.
He's going to be 31 in July.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy physically is reaching the athletes' primes are so hard to define. I'm going to say,
quarterback's on the other side of 30. I mean, you're certainly not going to get, you're probably not going to get better.
I think it depends what you do. See, I think if you were to overhaul the wide receiver room a little bit, or go out and get a dynamic tight end that can really be like, you had Jason Witten for all those years, and he was a weapon for you, and you don't really have that guy right now. You don't, like, I know everyone wants to die on the Lamb Hill outside, wants to say that this guy is just incredible. The fact is he's a 4A wide receiver. He's the best number 2 wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. He disappears in the playoffs, and he's the best wide receiver in the league during the regular season. You need someone that Dak can go to reliably, or at a minimum, you need a Batman Robin dynamic in the wide receiver room. Get a better wide receiver and let Lamb eat his one-on-one coverage. You got to figure something out. So as far as Dak is concerned, my point is, if you were to go and do that, like if you make a good decision with the head coach, go out and fix the wide receiver room, you're cooking with gas at that point. You should expect to beat teams in the playoffs. But that's the core issue here, isn't it? You lost to a team that even with your current roster, you should have beaten, and you should have beat them handily.
I don't have listen, I don't have a problem with the Dallas Cowboys firing Mike McCarthy. I truly do not. I think it's the right thing to do. My issue is when you come in and you replace him with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is not a better coach than Mike McCarthy is. You replace him with Bill Belichick. Okay, great. I get it. I understand it. There's nothing to argue about. But when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, do you understand the enormity of that job? It's not an easy one. And this argument with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? I look at Nick Sirianni, and this whole thing about, should they fire Nick Sirianni? There's no question they should. I look at the regression of the offense. I look at the regression of the quality at the skill positions. Players don't want to be there. There was a lack of effort. I was watching the third quarter of that game last night when I got home. It happened to be on. And Mrs. Monty was doing some stuff in the kitchen, whatever. So I was flipping around and I was watching part of that third quarter. You have wide receivers trotting down the field in a 4-receiver set, not running hard. And you have Jalen Hurts throwing up a Hail Mary because he had like 3 seconds and his wide receivers are not looking back, and they're not, like, you have 3 guys on the left side, and you have your tight end who runs a 7-yard in, never even looked. And it repeated itself throughout the second half. That's not wanting to. That's bad schematics. That's bad coaching. That's bad adjustments. 0 second half adjustments out of Nick Sirianni in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep that guy. I'll never understand it. And I think when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, that's an organization, if they don't fire Nick Sirianni, they are telling you they are fine being mediocre and they don't want to win. Because Nick Sirianni's not a winner, he's a loser. When you tank the second half of the season the way he did, and you lose the Super Bowl, and you lose your identity, and you pay your quarterback who immediately regressed, and your wide receivers who your GM has stocked you with more than enough talent to be the leading offense in the NFL. And not only are you not the leading offense, your offense is a big part of your problem. That's critical. And when your coordinators get other jobs and you sink, that tells you the head coach isn't the reason you went to the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni is a problem in Philadelphia. And if you can replace him with Bill Belichick, you do that today. You do that right now. Right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, and I think in Sirianni's case, it's more clean cut in terms of firing him.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close. You are either going in the right direction or you are firing your head coach.
And I agree with you. The Super Bowl appearance to me feels like a coordinator did a great job, not that Nick Sirianni was some prolific head coach. And now it feels like you're as far away from a Super Bowl as you've ever been. And that's really a shame when you consider the talent that's on that roster. And again, it's just flying under the radar right now. And I know you hate it. You don't buy into all the social media junk. Just take it at face value. We haven't heard word one, seen nothing out of A.J. Brown's camp about anything, which someone might say, hey, it's the offseason. No big deal. He's rehabbing. No drama. But I feel like it's, hey, this guy's not saying much. This guy's going to wait and see who the head coach is, and then this guy's either going to hold out or he's going to come back.
And then you have Fletcher Cox lighting up a reporter the other night, talking about, you're a clown, bro. Get out of my face, bro. Because he asked about Nick Sirianni's future with the team.
Boom, out of here.
I mean, this team is in disarray, an absolute mess.
Stupid ass question.
And I think I look at all these coaches we're talking about, and I'm asking again, why is Antonio Pierce not under contract in Las Vegas? Because they don't want him.
Yeah.
He's out interviewing for other jobs. They're out interviewing other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders have interviewed all of their Rooney Rule candidates. They can hire a coach anytime they want, yet they have not. So when there's a problem with the recipe. Philadelphia, the head coach is a problem. Arthur Smith in Atlanta was the problem. They fired his ass. Carolina, the head coach was a problem. They fired Frank Reich. How does the owner not know the head coach's name? I think he called him Frank Reich. Frank Reich. Anyway, you fired the head coach who was a problem. You look at Houston. Why is Houston a great story? Because DeMeco Ryans is a really good head coach right now. And I look at Dan Campbell in Detroit. And again, I continue to make the argument that the head coach is somebody that has to be a unifying force. Is Nick Sirianni unifying anybody?
No.
Is Mike McCarthy unifying people?
And this is what I say.
I think he is.
I think your head coach has to have a big personality. This was my thing with the Kalen DeBoer thing at Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is a damn good head coach. Is he a big enough personality for Bama? Just the same way, Nick Sirianni is a weird-ass dude that doesn't really have a huge personality or a dynamic, controlling, leadership style personality. What?
This guy, Brett, who DMs me every single day, just sent me a DM on the old tweet machine and said, hey, I wanted to make sure you saw the ACC filed an amended complaint just like you said they would. You guys should talk about this on your show. It would make good content. Man, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I? You know what, man? I'm slipping.
Send the guy a link to join the show. He can take over for me. I mean, it should just be the Brett show,
It's wild. All right, let's get your comments in here. Paulo gives us $5 today. Thank you, Paulo. He says, Sark is picking and getting whoever he wants. Go hook 'em, boy. Sark is doing a great job.
Yeah, buddy's got that NIL money, bro.
Big Blue Horses. Monty, you got the sources. Who are the Jazz trading? We'll talk about that coming up in 30 minutes. Who are the Jazz trading? Aaron Wilson, $2. Shout out to Big Daddy Magic. Prayers of healing.
Big Daddy Magic, the heavyset one with the big gun with the sweet tongue.
Thoughts and prayers, right?
This is your beloved.
Ismail Montoya for $5. Any update on Harbaugh to the Chargers? The Chargers are one interview away from their Rooney Rule compliance. And I think Jim Harbaugh, it's interesting. There is a belief around certain circles with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers that they decided to take a few days. And I think it's because there's a process working. And I think Jim Harbaugh wants them to hire a GM before he agrees to be their coach. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to be the guy that has a conflict with his general manager, because that's exactly what he had in San Francisco. And I don't think he wants to deal with that. And I think it's a very smart approach from Jim. And I think this process is going to play out right in front of everybody's eyes. If I'm Don Yee, who is Jim Harbaugh's NFL agent, I would have him interviewing for every job. And if he has not interviewed with the Raiders yet, I have no idea why he has not, because he should be. And I also think that Jim believes he has a chance if the Cowboys make a change with McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
And Don Yee knows if the Cowboys are going to make a change.
Well, and I think it doesn't behoove Jim to that end to rush. Jim's in no hurry here. Like, we all know that the NCAA is going to take another 10 years to levy the discipline against Michigan. So, Jim doesn't have to hurry on that front. Jim doesn't have to hurry on the Charger front. And he certainly doesn't have to hurry on the Cowboy front. There's no reason for Jim Harbaugh and his camp to move quickly here.
None.
You need to wait for the playing field to reveal itself. Is the Eagle job going to be open? The Cowboy job? You look around, and I'm just telling you guys, if you're Jim Harbaugh, if you're going to go to the league, and I believe he will, you want the absolute best situation you can get yourself into.
Yes.
And while initially the Charger job was the best situation and honestly made the most sense for both sides because Jim is a quarterback guru at his core, Jalen Hurts is a pretty capable quarterback. Now, he's not the cold-blooded passer that Justin Herbert is, but Jalen Hurts is a damn good quarterback. And if I'm Jim, yeah, I agree. From a business leverage perspective, yeah, I'd be interviewing with the Raiders with the intent to never take that job, right? Because they don't have a quarterback, really. You're going to have to figure that out there. And other positions have quarterbacks. It's like the Atlanta job. Why would Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh take the Atlanta job?
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
That's tough for a coach of that. It's like, for my money anyway, Jim Harbaugh, if you're going to hire Jim Harbaugh, you better have a quarterback, because that's what he does. So if you are the Los Angeles Chargers, who still should be in San Diego but rent space in the Rams stadium, I'm gonna, and I know Charger fan,
wear it out, bro.
Show me your lightning bolt. Every time Charger fans, Monty, you got to stop saying that. San Diego's dead. No, it's not. No, it's not. That whale's vagina is prime. My point is, Jim Harbaugh's a great fit with the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
Quarterback, defense. Because what is Jim Harbaugh going to do when he comes in and gets your head coaching job?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to make probably $10 to $12 million a year. He's going to have complete control and autonomy over the offensive roster. And he is immediately going to build that offensive line to help his quarterback develop. Everywhere he has been, you can go back and look at Staley in San Francisco or this unbelievable offensive line at Michigan. Everywhere he's been, he has had a core belief system, build an offensive line to support my quarterback. And everywhere he's been, with the exception of free Harbaugh at Michigan, he has had elite quarterback talent. And they've always been supported with an offensive line. And I think he has always had two really good wide receivers. That's his model.
Well, and I think you make a good point about free Harbaugh, JJ McCarthy, right? He wasn't anything elite. I mean, he could get the job done, but what did Jim do? Jim said, okay, well, we can still work this into the mold that I like to use. We're going to work with the vacuum salesman, the greatest one our country's ever seen. And we're just going to run the football when we need to.
Vacuum salesman.
Right? Like that's what Jim did. Jim said, okay, free Harbaugh is not good enough. I got a guy right behind him that can run it right downhill and make it 2nd and 5 so JJ can go out and throw the football. That's all they did. That's it. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. I think that if you hire Jim Harbaugh and if you hire Bill Belichick, I think he's only going to take a job where you have an elite quarterback like Dak Prescott. I don't think he's a candidate in Los Angeles. I truly do not. But I think you look at Atlanta, that's a tough position. They don't have a quarterback. I think you look at Dallas. Dallas has an immense amount of defensive talent. And again, I go to Philadelphia. If you are Bill Belichick and you are telling Philadelphia that you are in the market to be a head coach, why would you not want the Philly job when they have an elite quarterback, an MVP caliber quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and you have, I think, some of the best defensive talent. Now, you have a lot of free agents there. You're probably going to have to fill a gap on the offensive line at a minimum. You are going to have to probably rebuild that secondary. You have age and salary issues back there. You also have a defensive line that I think is wildly talented. Dude, all the pieces are in place for Bill Belichick. He's got great talent on the outside. He's got a really good offensive line. You can't tell me Jason Kelce's retiring. And I was just talking to an NFL guy who said Jason Kelce's going to wait and see what they do with Nick Sirianni. And I think he should. He said on his show today, Jason Kelce said, I'll make the decision when it's time. He claims he did not tell anybody after the game that he was retiring. He said, I appreciate. And I think one of the things that he said, and a lot of people have said, the group that is in Philadelphia now has been poisoned. That group is going to change dramatically, which was going to happen because of cap and contract situations. That group in Philly now has been poisoned. And I think that old guard has to become new because guys like Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are not getting younger. I think Jason Kelce has one more year in him, and I think he wants to go back to the playoffs, and I think he wants to be on a team that can make a deep run. He's only going to play for Philadelphia. So I think he's going to wait. I just am curious. I am very curious what happens in Philly.
Oh, and I think that's the beautiful thing about Philly, right? You're one of those franchises. Like Philly is not like Philly has this prestige that the Falcons or the Raiders don't necessarily have. And the Raiders, obviously heritage, you've done things like totally, but right now today, Philly's got this thing where it's like, hey, we just went to the Super Bowl and now we need to make some changes. And if we do that and we go out and get Bill, let's say, dude, our boys are going to come back and we just need to make some changes around. Like obviously Jalen, Jason Kelce, AJ Brown, assuming that recovery goes fine with his knee, which why wouldn't it? You know, like we have a setup here, but we need proper leadership. Can you imagine just putting this out there? Can you imagine if that Philly defense under Bill Belichick was as good as we know Bill Belichick defenses can be? That gets Jalen Hurts, let's call it even 4 extra possessions a game. That would be wild.
All right, let's get some of your comments in here. Really appreciate you guys being here. What do you think the Dallas Cowboys should do? My passionate opinion is if you are going to fire Mike McCarthy, I'm okay with that. That loss, and I mean, they just did not look ready for that moment. CeeDee Lamb is the most frustrating wide receiver in the NFL for me. I mean, as you're well aware, I'm a Dak Prescott supporter. CeeDee Lamb did him no favor. Dak was terrible in the first half. Who are we kidding? But you have a guy out there in CeeDee Lamb not catching the football and not running routes. I'm okay if you fire Mike McCarthy. You hire Jim Harbaugh and you are dead to me. Because that just makes no sense. You don't hire Jim Harbaugh when your guy's 36-15 and how many times did we hear Mike McCarthy doesn't even call the plays? Fire that fat ass. Okay, well, he fired Kellen Moore because your offense was mediocre. Cowboy fans got pissed about that. And then he took your offense to the next level, developed Dak Prescott, called the plays, and now you have one of the best offenses in football. And you're still going to fire him. Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But it better be Bill Belichick. And Jerry Jones, and we joked about this morning, Jerry Jones ain't that bro that's going to fire Mike McCarthy if he doesn't have a handshake deal in place with the hoodie. There's not a chance he's going to do that. No chance. No chance at all. Tanner Plummer, reports came out that Sirianni was meeting with ownership today. I heard it was tomorrow. This was the same type of meeting that Douglas P. was canned in 21. Dougie P. Well, and he should have been canned. So far, no updates. We'll see what happens. Jeff Woodworth, Wales Vagina Fathers is a good baseball team. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
I hear they go deep a lot. Dan does cats. I could play a lot of golf for 10 to 12 million. Go, Jim. So could I. So could I. Sean Rollins says sign Steeler guy. See, like Steeler, Steeler, like Mike Tomlin.
Right.
The Calford Axe. Let's go. Bill Belichick to the Cowboys would be I think, listen, if Jerry's going to drop dead tomorrow, let his last act be that you hired Bill Belichick.
Yay.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sitting here thinking about this as we're having the conversation. I'm just like, dude, like, you can't lose in the court of public opinion if you hire Bill Belichick.
You can't.
Like it literally is. It's the epitome of a win-win thing. Okay, you hire him, you win a Super Bowl, win. You hire him, you suck, you don't make the playoffs, Bill retires. He just wasn't all that interested.
But what's changed? Jerry's had too much plastic surgery and Botox. He's killing skeeters and he puts too much salt on his McRiddles, and the Cowboys don't win. What's the difference between that and today? Nothing.
Just saying.
You hired the best available coach to replace who would become the best available coach.
So are we talking about the Cowboys situation or the Philly situation? Because it looks the same to me.
Jake, can you read this one? Because I can't say it out loud.
What does it say? JJ
equals bus driver. Thank you. I can't say those two letters back to back.
Okay.
Free Harbaugh.
Right. Free Harbaugh.
Yeah. And Mike Smith is one of our best, so I'm going to read his comment, but I won't say those words. James, the unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country, who now has Jake's cell phone number. I think the Chargers should move back to San Diego. Oh, God. Fuck me. Once a show, James says something that is just so spectacularly... I don't want to say uninformed. It's so spectacularly
out of left field
and not possible. Maybe I need to start pre-screening these.
Yeah, who was the producer who said we could take this call?
I think the Chargers should move back to San Diego. If they negotiate to have a new stadium built,
the ink isn't dry yet.
They can play at Snapdragon for a few years, do an open air stadium, and enjoy the nice weather.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Do you know nothing about the culture of San Diego and the Chargers with the Spanos family?
Listen, I like Los Coyote Cafe in Old Town San Diego a lot. I do. And La Jolla is wonderful. That doesn't change the fact that lightning bolt country is not moving back to San Diego.
Show me your lightning bolt.
That's not happening, bro.
That's right, T.
The Spanos family can't even step into La Jolla County. That's not real. Into San Diego County.
I'm telling you, it's not possible, bro.
There is a kill order on the Spanos family in San Diego County.
You've got Steve Ballmer out here building awful stadiums and domes. And you think the Spanos family can't do the same thing? Come on, dude. Come on.
Do you understand that there are snipers positioned on top of the Mormon temple that is beautiful and right off of the freeway? The 405, the San Diego freeway. There's a big, beautiful Mormon temple.
This is fucking America.
And I could be wrong about this. Jake has confirmed it to me through his sources at the White Salamander Foundation.
Yes.
Joseph Smith himself is up on top of that temple with a sniper rifle, and he is waiting for Dean. He is going to double tap Dean's forehead. If he ever stepped, I've probably gone too far. This is okay. We do, yeah.
It's not the best situation, and we all know that.
Oh, fuck. Here we go. I think the Cardinals should move back to Chicago. I think the Cardinals should move back to Chicago and compete with the Bears for the
Hey,
worst run.
should the Titans move back to Houston, bro?
Listen, bro. We're moving back to Houston, and we're gonna take Big Daddy Boss Frog, Mo Syed.
Big Daddy Magic.
He runs the entire world, and he's gonna fly down in his Porsche helicopter, and we're gonna have a fight to the death for the Houston Oilers uniforms. And Mo is gonna stomp on Eddie George's face.
Just a stalwartness.
Should the Titans move back to Houston? People will die.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds
So good.
because it's all part of the plan.
Mike Smith, I love how James has the superpower of triggering money at the drop of a comment. Like, where do you come up with this shit,
Hi,
right?
this is James.
I
Welcome
love
back.
that the reaction is instant.
Look.
You pull up the comment and it's immediately, oh, F, here we go. Like, dude, you haven't even read the comment.
Because all you have to see is, hey, Monty, over here at Buc-ee's, we're getting barbecue sandwiches. And we're talking about the
guys.
Chargers moving
Hey,
back
guys.
to La
Hey, guys.
Jolla. And I'm just thinking, stop thinking.
bro. Pause.
Stop thinking and stop eating at Buc-ee's. Stop it. God damn it.
Fucking A.
Ah,
James.
Carruthers, Chargers back to San Diego. Sounds good to me.
It's the fucking vernal equinox.
Oh my God. Tanner Plummer. Los Coyotes Cafe. I could use some of that right now. Those handmade
Dude.
tortillas. Fat Jesus, the most prolific author on the. Go get his book up there, Jake. Go run and get that real quick. Jerry Jones won't fire anyone if that's not what everyone is telling him to do. Only Jerry knows how to run a team. I mean, wow, your face is huge. There's our guy's book. You guys go get it. Stop moving so they can back up. There you go. It's on Amazon. Where's Joe Biden by Frank Stevens. Go and get it. Support our guy, Fat Yeezus. And I would also point out, yes, there you go. Stop right there. Do you see where it says computer casuals? That's the Monty Show broadcasting live in Fat Jesus' book. You know,
Yeah.
go hook it up, man.